Recently, we've seen a spate of games that play outside of the usual genres with unique and interesting concepts focused on a more gameplay-centric style over all else. These games are the ones that you tend to hear about on social media or have friends rave to you about them, forcing you to dive in to see what all the fuss is about. Balatro is one such game. Balatro is Latin for the fool or jester, and it seems rather appropriate since this game will have you spending a lot of time surrounded by jokers. What's it like? Shuffle the deck, the jokers are wild, and place your bets as we review Balatro for the Nintendo Switch. But hey, before we start to deal, would you care to up the ante by liking and subscribing? It's the best way creators like me get found on YouTube, and I can't thank you enough for doing so. Balatro is quite a unique proposition that plays like a game of poker, albeit with mysterious modifiers in the form of joker cards. These cards can be as simple as adding a multiplier to your score, or to allow you to skip sequential cards for a flush. You are tasked with winning a small blind, a big blind, and then the hook, before upping the ante and doing it all over again. To do so, you will have a certain amount of hands to play and a certain amount of times you can discard at your disposal to help you up the ante. Each ante significantly increases the chips required to beat the round, and before getting to the hook, which then has its own unique modifiers that are designed to gauge your progress. Some of these obstacles might be cards designated as clubs being unable to count towards your hand, or drawing cards face down. Initially, a lot of these obstacles will defeat you, but as you gain more experience in the world of Balatro, you will become more scrupulous to the tricks it attempts to play on you. While poker may be the basis for the cards, Balatro is fairly accessible to all as it explains the hands before you play them, showing you a preview of both the chips you may earn as well as a multiplier. It doesn't take your joker cards into account, however, but it does reflect the effect that the other cards like celestial cards have when upgrading specific hands to offer more chips and a higher multiplier. On top of the celestial cards, you can also purchase powerful tarot cards that permanently modify cards or create jokers, as well as standard cards to bolster your decks. There's also arcana cards that add special modifiers like additional chips and increases in your multipliers. And there are a lot of mechanics at play here which may seem overwhelming at first, but they're very well implemented, and finding combinations that work best for you evolves the more you play. Progression is based on unlocks for achieving certain criteria and milestones. Ending your run will tell you if you've unlocked a new deck with unique stats or a new joker card to add into the rotation. It's rewarding and spurs the player on to continue to try and beat the run and unlock the next difficulty tier. You will fail, a lot, and it took me several hours to beat my first run as I fell victim to the hooks, mainly when the ante was at level 6 or 7, which saw me get knocked down to the first round all over again. Despite this, I wasn't actually deterred from the game, and I looked forward to building a new deck to beat the run. I kept asking myself, is this the run? Is this the one where I'm going to do it? And that's that addictive loop that will keep you invested in Balatro. There's also an endless mode unlocked when you beat your first run, although that may take you some time. The pixel art style works for smooth and solid gameplay with no performance hitches. It's complemented by an old school CRT filter that can be turned off if need be, and the simple style means that Balatro dazzles you with its core gameplay instead of dazzle and style. For my vision impaired poker players, I am pleased to report that Balatro has certain accessibility options that make life a little easier. For starters, you are able to turn off the CRT filter, you can reduce screen shake, you can turn down the bloom effects, and you can also select an option for high contrast cards. The only issue that may arise is that some card effects and the text in the UI can be rather small, so the zoom screen function might come in handy in those particular instances. Thankfully, there are no time restrictions on play, meaning that you can take your time to read all the status effects before you take your turn. You can choose to play with your controller or use touchscreen controls, which are implemented extremely well. Touch controls do require you to hold your finger down on a card to see its effects, which means that sometimes your hand does get in the way of action, whereas the standard controls offer tooltips on the screen when you hover over your card. I found both control styles to be agreeable, but due to the fast-paced nature of the game, I opted to use touchscreen controls to smash through the rounds. Balatro is an unconventional game that takes risks, and it's all the better for it. It's a fun and rewarding experience that will keep you engaged with its excellently implemented mechanics, as well as its ability to slowly uncover its secrets to you the more you play. For a price of around 22 Australian dollars, there are several hours of entertainment here and plenty of things to unlock for the price of a movie ticket. While the game may be about jokers and playing tricks on the players, you would certainly be a fool to pass up on this uniquely challenging and engaging roguelike deck builder. So, what's it like? Balatro is like Hearthstone crossed with a game of Texas Hold'em poker. I award it a 92 out of 100. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Because of amazing people like you, What's It Like is now my full-time job. I also do want to do a special shout out to my Patreons, S Hill, K Skip, and D Kite. I couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you.